In this episode of Good Deeds Buffalo, first we meet Deanne Williamson, the founder of Upward Design for Life, an organization dedicated to creating beautiful and functional spaces for families in need. Deanne shares her passion for design and her drive to make a positive impact in her community through her work. Jordan's good news, and I will connect with Kimberly Burkowski, the creator of the Facebook group Kindness Buffalo. Kimberly shares her inspiring story, how she started the group, and the amazing impact it has had on our community. Kindness Buffalo is about sharing positivity and encouraging acts of kindness, and Kimberly shares her tips on how you can make a difference in your own neighborhood.
Everybody wants a life full of hope to feel alive. Everybody needs a dream, we ain't getting younger. Everybody wants to love, feel the rush, beating heart. You can live it all, reach out and you will see. Reach out and you will see.
Joining me in studio is Deanne Williamson, the founder of Upward Design for Life. Deanne, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Jordan. I appreciate it.
You
Happy
are
to be here.
so welcome. Isn't it exciting?
It is.
Yeah. So what is Upward Design for Life for those who may not know?
Upward Design for Life is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our mission is to restore hope by transforming empty spaces into homes for families in need. So basically, we turn empty spaces into homes by furnishing it with gently used, donated furniture from our community.
Right. And as I've seen online, it's not just we give you the furniture, there's more involved in this. You know, you actually get involved and see their individual needs, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. There is love involved. So like you say, we're not just dropping off furniture, we're actually placing furniture strategically. We're creating rooms and spaces that will allow for peace, some tranquility, some hope, and to help families restore their dignity after going through some pretty traumatic situations for the most part. So yeah, so we're going to furnish the home completely, provide furniture, we're going to hang curtains, place area rugs, provide new beds and bedding. We really transform those spaces.
And you give them somewhere to call home.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people misunderstand that just having a safe space and somewhere that feels I guess you could say inclusive to your way of life is important. I was looking at the photos, and you turned this one family's home into an empty space, into a home.
Absolutely.
So who do you serve? You know, what does the population look like that you serve?
Well, for the most part, we serve about 85 to 90% of the clients we serve are domestic violence survivors. We do serve refugees, young adults who are aging out of the foster care system, any individuals who are transitioning out of shelters, just to name a few. And we have partner agencies, almost 30 partner agencies locally who refer their clients to us.
That's
for
impressive.
the
30
service.
organizations helping and referring to you.
Yeah, so I feel very grateful to have their trust, to know that we're going to go in and be an extension of their services, but go the extra mile to, you know, because once they transition out of shelters, they pretty much just have the clothes on their backs. Sometimes they're just in garbage bags or suitcases. But you have moms living in their apartments with no furniture at all. They're sleeping on the floor with their babies or just have air mattresses. So we're able to really go in and give them some peace, have a safe home so that they can heal and heal together as a family.
You know, I think what you're doing is very innovative. I think you're filling a need in the community that probably needs to be filled across the country. You know, you're actually getting involved in helping these peoples in ways that they don't have access to.
Absolutely.
I talk about this all the time. Sometimes you just need a hand up.
You
And
do.
that's what you're able to provide these families.
Absolutely.
And how do people apply?
Well, it's through our partner agencies. That is really the most critical piece because it's our partners that refer their clients. So unfortunately, we just can't take general requests from the public. It's through our partners that we get to learn a little bit more about the client, their history. What are they doing now in terms of rebuilding their lives? Are they going through educational training, job training, things of that nature? But it is where it starts. Our agencies have to complete our client referral form.
Okay.
Once we receive that, Unfortunately, we have to put the client on a waiting list. That's, one of our biggest challenges. Waiting list is anywhere from 6 to 8 months because
Yeah.
we are a staff of one, myself, and a team of volunteers. So we just can't serve as quickly as we'd like to at this time, but we're going to get there with increased funding support. But that is how the process starts. It starts right from the partner agencies.
And that agency list, is that on your website then?
Well, all of our partner agencies are listed on our website, absolutely. And if
Perfect.
someone wants to request information, we have all the contact information on there, like support@upwarddesignforlife.org, where people can email us about general questions. We work very closely with our partner agencies so that we can make sure that we're serving families to the best of our abilities.
Absolutely, and I can understand that there's a wait list involved. The work that you're doing is intense. It's not, like I said, it's not just dropping off the furniture. There's more involved. But people at home, how can they get involved to help maybe make that process a little bit quicker for the people that are waiting?
Well, one of our challenges is space. We have 8 storage units now that house all of the donated furniture we receive. And that's critical for our work because we need to have enough inventory so that we can start, having furnishings and household items ready for the next family on the waiting list. But I have to turn down donations very often because we don't have space to accommodate more. But when I serve a family, it frees up space. We take in more donations. So it's just a constant cycle of just trying to make sure we have enough
And
to
then
help the
giving
next
what
family.
you can.
Yeah. So that's one of the greatest challenges. But from the community, we always need someone to just go out and spread the word about the work that we're doing.
Yeah.
Spread the word. You can always volunteer. You can go to the Take Action page of our website, sign up to volunteer, join us. We always need help furnishing homes for families and even organizing our storage unit because things are constantly in rotation. So organizing is always a key. And of course, financial support is a big thing for us because we're still very small. This is only our 5th year of operations. And we want to be here for a long time because there
Absolutely.
is a need and we are filling that need or we're doing our best to fill it. But we're going to need a lot more growth to happen before we can reduce that waiting time. And that's the goal is 100 families a year by 2027.
Well, I hope and I can envision you getting there. It is possible. We can work together as a community to support your work. What inspired you?
Well, I always loved interior design. Growing up, I knew early on the impact of your surroundings. My mother was a wonderful homemaker. I grew up in great surroundings, even living in public housing. My mom always made our home feel so special. So I was impacted by that early on, and I know the impact of what your environment can do for your well-being, your mental health. It should be a place of refuge. It should be a place of peace and comfort and safety. And I'd like for us to be able to provide that for families starting over.
What's your favorite part about what you do?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. But if I had to choose a favorite, it's really the look on the family's faces when they walk back in to see their furnished spaces. It's nothing like it, and I love children's spaces.
I'm
are
getting
my
chills
favorite.
as you're speaking about this.
Yeah,
I am.
children's
I'm like,
spaces are my favorite, only because it's like you're going from nothing to a completely furnished space. So it's just one less thing families have to be concerned about. Because when they're transitioning out of shelters, it's like, okay, now we're in our home, but how am I going to furnish it?
how am I going to make it a home?
How am I going to make it a home?
And when you're starting from nothing, it's hard.
It's hard.
So you're helping, and I shared on our social media previously. Your volunteers, like you said, they work tirelessly to make things happen, reorganizing. So thank you to them for
Yes.
supporting
My
you,
volunteers
Deanne.
are awesome. They are awesome.
They're doing it.
Because volunteering, it's in so many different areas. We have a fundraising and events committee that helps us. We have volunteers that help us with the furniture installations. So there's a variety of ways we can help. But when you do those furniture installation projects, there's a lot of physical work involved. I mean, there's a lot of heavy lifting, and the majority of our volunteers are women, and they really roll up their sleeves and they get the job done. And they inspire me. It's just fantastic, fantastic.
Well, perfect. Before we go today and wrap this up, is there any events coming up or anything you wanted to add real quickly?
Yeah, I would love to just share about our Uplift Design Challenge and fundraiser. This year is our second annual event. And basically what is involved in that is that we have 3 local companies who've signed up to be competing design teams.
Oh, wow.
And what they will do is go into the home and furnish a home for a family. We have a videographer that records all of the projects, compiles this beautiful video, and we showcase it to the community, and the community gets to vote for their favorite design project. But the sponsorships is where we hope to raise money. So we're always interested in companies to support our mission by taking on a sponsorship level. And it's going to keep us alive, keep our organization growing, and at the end of the day, there are families that are being positively impacted by this work. So the support, we need it greatly.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on the show, Deanne. It's been a pleasure to get to chat with you. You know, we couldn't let you leave empty-handed, so before you go, I actually have something for you. So, as a small token of our appreciation and everything that you do, our friends over at Double Eagle Embroidery wanted to give you this Bill's Mafia fleece.
Awesome.
As just a small token of our appreciation for everything that you do for our community.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Cool.
You are so welcome.
I will rock this. Thank you.
When we return, it's time for Jordan's Good News. Then we'll meet Kimberly Borowski, the creator of the Facebook group Kindness Buffalo. Make sure to follow us on all of the latest social media: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And now it's time for Jordan's Good News. Hello everyone, I'm Jordan James, and I've got some great news to share with you today. From local volunteers making a difference to inspiring acts of kindness, Jordan's Good News brings you all the feel-good stories you need to start your day. Did you guys see this? A Western New York CPR instructor was a guest on the Drew Barrymore Show. The Drew Barrymore Show reached out to Karen Meefield soon after our local media shared the story of how, as she was teaching a class in the town of Tonawanda, a scary and coincidental emergency unfolded next door.
This guy kind of wandered in, grabbed some snacks and watched for a little bit, left, and then 20 minutes later he came back and he said, I know you were doing CPR in here. My friend's not breathing. She's not responding. I need help right now. Wow. And I went out the door. A couple of parents came with me to make sure it was a safe situation, and I went to the apartment building across the street, walk in, and this woman was clearly in cardiac arrest.
New York State Assemblyman William Conrad was among the witnesses, and he's seen her skilled response as she ran to perform CPR on the patient. After teaching Drew and Ross how to perform CPR, Drew presented Karen with an Assemblyman proclamation on behalf of New York City Assemblyman William Conrad. Way to go, Karen. It's officially spring. March 20th was the start of spring, bringing with it the joy of blooming flowers and warmer weather. And with it comes a sense of renewal and new beginnings. It also brings construction on buildings and things like that in that time of year. I personally feel that spring is a time of healing and growth, bringing with it a sense of hope and a burst of energy that's invigorating for the soul, like a butterfly breaking out of its cocoon. Now, exciting news from the world of football. Damar Hamlin, a Buffalo Bill and rising star in the NFL, who had a scare on the field during Monday Night Football last year, will play football again. And it turns out his impact went far beyond just his performance on the field. His charity, Chasing M's, received over $9 million in donations from across the world within days after the incident. When asked about how Chasing M's would use the money, Hamlin was quoted saying, "I want to change the world." Damar created the Chasing M's Foundation to use as a vehicle to bring lasting impact to his community. The foundation supports toy drives, back-to-school drives, kid camps, and more. This young athlete is truly making a difference and setting an amazing example of giving back. We couldn't be more proud of and inspired by Damar Hamlin's generosity and his commitment to making a positive impact. Keep shining, Damar. We believe it's important to recognize and celebrate good news. So if you know a good news story or someone who deserves recognition, nominate them by visiting our website or sending us a message on social media. And who knows, they may be featured on the next episode of Good Deeds Buffalo. Let's continue to spread kindness and positivity in all that we do and keep the good news coming. Good Deeds Buffalo continues after this.
You can live it all, reach out and
back to Good Deeds Buffalo. Joining us now via Zoom is Kim Burkowski, founder of Kindness Buffalo. Kim, what is Kindness Buffalo?
Kindness Buffalo is a Facebook page that friends of mine created after I was diagnosed with leukemia. When I was diagnosed, obviously my friends and family were all asking me what they could do to help me. Unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot that they could do besides pray. And I asked them if they would commit random acts of kindness and think of me when they did it, putting some positive energy out into the universe and spreading joy. So my friends decided to make this Facebook page where folks could post random acts of kindness that they either committed or witnessed, and we could all read them. And the point was not to brag about them, but to inspire others to do the same.
And it's such an inspiring idea. You know, you were faced with this challenge and your friends wanted to figure out a way to help and lift you. How does it feel to have the support from your friends and family, you know, not just with your diagnosis, but, you know, here on Facebook and social media?
It's really overwhelming at times. You don't realize really how many people truly care about you until you're in a situation like this, and everyone wants to help. And knowing that people are committing these random acts of kindness in my honor, it's amazing. It's uplifting, and it definitely helps me on my cancer journey.
Yes, I've been watching your Facebook page, Kindness Buffalo, and I see everyone who shares their content to your page, and you have a good group of people who continuously help push your mission. Now, what is your long-term goals in regards to Kindness Buffalo? Do you have some goals in mind?
For me, I want the legacy that I leave behind to be kindness. I have 3 children, and I want them to be kind to themselves and to others, which both of those are kind of hard sometimes. So having this Facebook page and having this literal army of support to make this a reality is important to me, and to continue spreading positivity and having people commit these acts. That's my goal.
You know, I will bring this up. A lot of people don't discuss what happens when you're no longer here. And I think that you took an initiative, and you know that you won't be here forever. But you want to leave this lasting impression, right? That
Exactly.
kindness is most important.
Yeah, even prior to my diagnosis, I was always one of those people who told my children, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. We would, pay for the person behind us in the drive-through. One time, my girls and I went to the store and bought a bunch of inexpensive floral bouquets, and we took them to the mall and handed them out to strangers just to brighten their day. And when we had done that, I was sharing with a coworker the next day that we had done it, and my coworker started to cry. And I said, why are you crying? And she said, you're not going to believe this. She said, a dear friend of mine was at the mall yesterday, and she lost her mom several years ago. And it was around the holidays, and this woman was missing her mom. And as she walked around the mall, she said, Mom, send me a sign that you're still with me. And shortly thereafter, one of my daughters walked up and handed her a bouquet out of the blue.
Wow.
And I sense chills down my spine right now. And to be able to share that with my girls, that they made a difference in someone's day like that, that's the kind of things that I want my girls to remember, my children to remember when I'm gone.
We have a similar mission to spread kindness and just to be human when you interact with another person. And, I lost my mother in 2019. And so that's when I mentioned leaving a legacy. You're certainly doing that, Kimberly, and it's been an honor to chat with you. You mentioned your diagnosis earlier. Has your diagnosis impacted your why? Why you wake up? Why you pour that cup of coffee? Has it impacted your why?
I think my why has always been my children, to raise productive members of society that contribute positivity rather than negativity. I think the diagnosis has just driven that home for me that, tomorrow's not promised, not for me and not for you. There's no time like the present to ensure that the folks around you know how important kindness is. And you never know what burden someone is carrying when you run into them in public. And it could be an absolutely horrible day for them. And just a simple smile could change their day. So to be able to do that, that's my why.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that and being so transparent with me. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm okay. I take it one day at a time. I was diagnosed in June of 21, so I've been on this journey a little while. I did receive a bone marrow transplant in November, a year ago November. So that definitely helped along my journey. But what happens with a lot of bone marrow transplant patients is they struggle with graft versus host disease, which is where the donor cells kind of attack the recipient cells. And so I'm dealing with some complications with that. But again, it's day by day. And every day that I wake up and I get to spend it with my kids and spread kindness, it's a gift.
Well, I'm getting the chills just chatting with you and interviewing. Before we go, how can people get involved in Help Kindness Buffalo?
Well, there's a Facebook page, Kindness Buffalo. I invite anyone to join it. As I mentioned, people post about acts of kindness that they've committed or witnessed to inspire others. One of the other things you could do is to join the bone marrow donor registry. You can do that by texting kindness or Kim. Another thing is, at Roswell, they always need blood and platelet donations. Before my diagnosis, I kind of thought that blood donations were for individuals who had had perhaps an accident or surgery where they lost a lot of blood. But through this cancer journey, I've realized lots of different illnesses need blood and platelets to treat them. So donating blood and platelets at Roswell is another way you can spread kindness. And one blood donation can save up to 3 lives.
I know that all too well. You're right. One blood donation can save up to 3 lives, and in your case, help you continue your journey of spreading kindness in Buffalo. Before we go, as a small token of our appreciation, obviously we're on Zoom, so I'll get this to you, but our friends over at Double Eagle Embroidery wanted to gift you a Bills Mafia fleece as a small token for all you do, so you can rock that Buffalo Bills style.
Wonderful. I'm a huge Bills fan.
Wonderful. Again, thank you so much, Kimberly, for coming on the show and for being a bright light for our community.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. Now, we'll be right back to wrap up our show after this. Stay tuned. Do you know someone you would like for me to highlight for their good deed on Good Deeds Buffalo? This person would be involved in the community and oftentimes are a beacon of hope and kindness. And the best part, Western New York can nominate someone for their good deed. Simply tag us on social media, contact us via our website, or send us an email to share your story. I want to thank WBBZ TV for their unwavering support. Visit gooddeedsbuffalo.tv to learn more about today's show. Stay tuned as they celebrate the individuals who have earned the recognition and gratitude of our community on Good Deeds Buffalo.
Everybody wants a life full of hope to feel alive. Everybody needs a dream.